everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince!
And it's time once again.
Recommend things!
Vince?
Yeah.
What do you recommend today?
Today, I'm recommending playing with stuffed animals. It's lots of fun. Okay, so I picked these up
I couldn't decide which one to punch. Like, which one stops that madness?
This one, he's riding that guy, see? Anyway, I really like these. I think they're adorable. I'm done. No, I'm kidding. They're made by Toy Factory, and I get a kick out of these things. Now, there's a series of 6 of these things, and there's, of course, the 4 Ghostbusters, and Slimer, and then Stay Puft, but I only brought these 2 over, because I figured...
Did you get the Stay Puft?
Yeah, I got all...
Oh, you should have brought him. How big is he?
He is the same size as this guy.
Okay.
It's really insane. Now, I do have one complaint about the series, that Venkman and Stantz look nearly identical.
I thought that was Venkman until I saw his tag.
They have a nearly identical face. I think there's like one line missing or something, and the hair is the opposite direction, and there's a little divot right there. So they're almost the same figure. Of course, it says Stantz on his, and it says Venkman on Venkman's. But I think these things are really funny, and what I like about them is that they're based on the movie designs, not on the movie design. Because of course, somebody got together and said we need to put together Harold Ramis's face. But they're based on the movie, not the cartoon show, and of course they're kind of and I think Peter Venkman's ears are the other direction. I think it's just like they put them on upside down. So weird. But,
that's cool though. They've got the proton packs on the back.
Yeah, they're proton packs printed on the back. They have the straps printed on the front. They have the Ghostbuster symbol there. They even have some printed zippers and stuff. I think now I picked these things up at Planet Comic-Con here in KC because the guy said, I'll give you one for free if you buy the set. And they were already about $4 under regular price anyway.
Oh, yeah, you had to do that.
So I said, man, that's happening.
Where do you usually get them, if not at a con?
I've seen them at comic book stores. I've seen them... Generally, places that sell action figures tend to sell plushies.
Because, can I say something? They look a lot like something you'd find in a claw machine.
Yeah, I could see that. They're a little bit bigger than the stuff that I'm used to getting in claw machines.
But I got...
This guy
I wish
anyway.
I'd brought him down. I recently got a data from Star Trek.
Oh, that's
Have I shown
cool.
them to you?
No.
I found a data from Star Trek in a claw machine, and I actually managed to get it. Claw machines, usually they're way too loose these days, and you can't get anything out of them, but I got it, man. He is like twice the size of this.
Oh, yeah?
Well, maybe not twice, but he's at least time and a half.
I've only ever
The size of this.
managed to get one thing out of a claw machine.
Really?
Yep. That was recently.
What
Within
was
the
it?
last month or two. I got a Hulk that was that tall. A stuffed Hulk from the Superhero Squad design.
I used to be pretty good at it. I got all 3 Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, really?
Once, yeah. Not like in the same fail schmoop, you know, it took a while.
He just knocked the machine over.
How did you get all 3 of them?
A brick helps quite heavily. So, anyway.
Spent a night in jail over those Powerpuff Girls, but they were worth it, Vince.
Of course, I don't think these guys are designed for a claw machine because they have little hooks on top. I've not taken them off because I'm not sure if I want to just like string a line across something and then hook them on top.
That'd be cool.
Let them hang.
Or you could use those hooks if you got like a chain or something. Like you know, I used to have that superhero chain of superhero stuffed animals.
Yeah.
And you could just they've got those clips on those chains, and you'd clip it like that, and then it would hang on the chain.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm debating a little bit about is just in case these things happen to rip through and cause like little pieces to come out. I'd rather have a floating piece of plastic inside of Slimer than I would have a hole in Slimer's head. So that's really about
I
it.
never thought I'd hear that sentence.
Yeah. A hole in Slimer's head.
I'd rather have a piece of plastic inside
Of Slimer.
I never thought I'd hear that.
Now, what I thought was really funny when I brought these things over here to Cap's place, Jason, Cap's son, walks up and says, "What did you bring from vintage stock?" And I had it in a vintage stock bag, and I said, "Oh, buddy, I'm so impressed that you could see the bag and enunciate what it is. Good job." And then he said, "What did you bring for me?" And I said, "I brought my stuffed animals. I'm sorry, but they're not yours."
Sorry, my kid always thinks you're bringing him things.
Oh,
but
that's not
in
true.
his defense, you've brought him enough stuff that it makes sense that he might think that.
Well, there's always been an occasion to bring things.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, you know, I'll bring something. And it does happen that I don't make a special trip over for your Christmas. We shoot videos, and I bring your Christmas.
He's also the easiest kid in the universe to shop for.
He's adorable. He likes anything I bring him. Yeah, he's getting pot roast for Christmas.
That sounds pretty good.
I thought that was funny. Anyway, so that's what I recommend. I think they're really neat and strangely detailed for being what they are, except for, the difference between Venkman and Stance. So, what do you recommend today, Cap?
Well, I recommend something else that my kid likes. Today, I'm going to recommend some Star Trek figures. I want to recommend just kind of the line of these. Now, if you're a Trek fan, you've seen these probably everywhere. These still pop up a lot in different stores. A lot of people seem to have kept them in packages, and so we find them all the time. So when I say the line, I just mean like all of these like 4.5-inch Star Trek figures. There were different lines of these. Right. There were several TNG ones. So like there's some early ones, but then I think they did it 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure. And then DS9 had a line, Voyager had a line, and then later there's one just called Star Trek where they just made a bunch of things that they never made before from all of the different series.
That's cool.
Besides Enterprise. So Enterprise never had this size. So the Enterprise figures were made by Art Asylum, and those are like 6-inch, 650. 6.5-inch kind of figures, and they're taller. I've got a couple of those, but I prefer this size just because I have so many of them now, and this is what I'm collecting. So my wife and I have decided to start collecting all of these. We're trying to get as many of them as we can. In the last month, I think we bought about 35 or 40 of these. And
you can find them for reasibly cheap. That's
yeah,
why.
we've been finding these for anywhere between $2 and $4 a piece, and we're just buying up all the ones we didn't have already. We had a small collection of them. I never really cared about them all that much. It was fun to have a few, but once I started getting them out of package, because I used to keep everything in the package, but then we ran out of space, and once I opened a few figures, I started realizing, figures are kind of fun out of the box, and then I got to see what all the little things were and stuff, and so I started opening figures. I guess I'm not the collector I should be, but I've got.
How dare you open figures you never intend to sell?
Exactly. We've kept all the card backings and all of that, and so we've kept everything. I've actually got a whole over there. I've actually got a whole box of all my old card backings.
Oh yeah.
That's what's in that.
Generally, when I open something, I throw away the card back.
My wife insisted I keep them because she likes them.
That's cool.
So we've kept those. But yeah, Sarah collects the figures as much or more than I do. And anyway, part of the reason that we decided to get all of them is because we started displaying these, and they display great because they've got these great display bases. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have unique display bases. Like this is Q. And Q, this is Q with the judge's robes. There's a couple different Qs. This one has a Q base that says Q on it. That's kind of neat. And then, so like a lot of the time it's just a Starfleet insignia, if it's a Starfleet character that just has their name on it. Like, I think this one does that. Here's Kirk in a flight suit. I'll mention something about him in a minute because it's funny, but so like, it's just Kirk. It just says Kirk on it. It looks like a label that you just print at like some used card store or something, right? I'm not going to talk about every individual figure, but I'm going to show you a few of these. Like I said, I have a bunch of these, and in fact, I've got a bag down here. I'm going to show you a few, but I've got even a bunch more in the other room. I think at this point we've got maybe 60 of these, and there's at least a couple hundred. I mean, there's a lot of these things, and we're still buying them up. This is the flight suit Kirk from Generations. He never wears this suit in that movie because they cut the scene. So I've seen the deleted scene that has this suit, but they made the figure before they knew they were going to cut the scene. So there's an action figure, the suit that he never wore in the movie. It's kind of funny. That's neat. Well, then they do cool things like here's Lexana Troy, and her base is neat. She's got this. Yeah. She's got the Federation symbol because she was a Federation ambassador. So these bases very often have a lot to do with these people's characters, and I just like the attention to detail that they think of including things that prove that the people making this actually know what the characters are. I think that's kind of fun. And these are not super detailed figures. They're 90s figures. A lot of them seem to be kind of the same basic figure with just modifications to make the character, but it makes them cheaper and more collectible, and it's kind of fun to get them. They're really small, so you can have a whole bunch of these and not take up too much space. That's what I like about them. And the other thing I really like about them is there's so many really obscure characters. It gets silly, and I'll show you some of that right now. By the way, here's all the accessories. That's a lot of accessories.
You don't put them in their hands or anything?
Well, I do when I'm displaying them, but right now I've got a lot of them just in this bag. Anyway, so like I said, I got a ton of these guys, and some of these get really obscure. Here's one of the more obscure ones I found. So this, Vince, is Tom Paris mutated into that stupid creature from that really bad episode of Voyager called Threshold. Yeah, they made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they made that. And those little lizards that you're showing. Yeah, that's those lizards from Threshold.
They kind of look like a hippo, a slug, and an eel mixed together. Isn't
that hilarious? Some of these get really obscure. They'll do some kind of obscure races too. This is a benzite from TNG. I think specifically that's supposed to be I think Mordok was his name. And let's see what else is in here. Dr. Noonien Sung, creator of Data. What little kid wouldn't want to play with an elderly Noonien Sung figure, Vince?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff in here. There was just a couple of things I wanted to point out.
I kind of love the beams coming out of the phasers.
Yeah, I always hated that when I was a kid. We used to cut those off.
I think that's really funny.
Yeah, because it's not like your character would want to always be shooting his phaser, right?
Yeah.
This is a character named Tosk.
Daniel Tosk?
From a first season episode of Deep Space Nine. And I forget what that episode was called. It's not called Tosk, I don't think. But anyway, so it's this really forgettable first season episode of DS9. I never cared for it. I don't have the other one, but there is but they made Tosk and the Hunter of Tosk. Why? I don't know, but they did. And that's why this is fun. They made such bizarre, obscure figures. This is Riker disguised as a species called a Malkorian from one somewhat not very memorable episode called First Contact. Not the movie First Contact, but an episode called First Contact. And yeah, so just Riker from what he looked like in that.
Wearing a disguise in one episode.
Yeah, in one episard.
I kind of love that, though, when they make weird figures. See,
and that's a lot of why I'm doing that, or why I'm getting these. Here is a... I wanted to show you this. Where's the base? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is a Vidian from Voyager. The Vidians were big in first season, into the second, and he comes with a base that that is the symbol of the Vidians. Now, I didn't know the Vidians had a symbol, Vince. That's how obscure this is. Then I looked it up. I was like, sure enough, that's their symbol. It's crazy. So yeah, these are really fun. There's a ton of these. Here I've got a Borg Queen. She's kind of fun. Hey, have you ever seen First Contact?
No.
Okay, so in First Contact, I'm going to spoil First Contact for you. In First Contact, the Borg Queen, they do this really cool shot. It's kind of pointless, but it's the big thing everybody remembered from that movie. There's this shot where her body is missing its head, and then the head comes down from above, and then locks into her body, and then closes up, and it's seamless. It closes up, and then she walks right out in front of Data. It's a really cool special effect. And this figure, if I can make it work right, does that. So they did this where like there's the stem that you see in First Contact, and then it comes down, and then that's what it is. Like comes down, and then the front closes up, and then she walks out.
That's cool.
And they put it in the figure. I thought that was pretty cool. And then she's got this really neat Borg base. So anyway, I'm collecting this a lot for the bases, really.
Everyone reconvene at the Borg base. Oh look, there it is.
Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Like I said, I have tons of these. I could show you more of them. Maybe someday when we've got most of them, I'll do a video kind of showing them all off. But it's kind of the big thing Sarah and I are collecting right now for Star Trek. And maybe eventually I'll even try to get Sarah to do a video with me on some of these. But I just kind of wanted to introduce you to them. So, I guess this is more of a you'll so want this that I recommend. I'm recommending these, if you're a Star Trek fan, you probably know about them already. But they're really fun to collect if you don't know that they're out there and that there's as many of them as there are. It's fun to try to see how many of them you can get your hands on.
Well, I think it's important to note that maybe Star Trek fans are going like, yeah, why do I care to collect a 4-inch figure? Well, there's something unique that comes with most of them. So
yeah, I don't usually like 4.5-inch figures. In figures 3.5 inches, things this small. I think you're like me. I usually like to get like 6-inch figures, but
I only have 2 figures this small, so. Well, that's not true. My Two-Face collection has more than that. But other than that, the only ones I have are the Spectre and the Question.
But these are fun, and Jason's enjoying them too. We're collecting them, but they're also really playable, and so anyway, that's what I recommend.
I feel like this is a potato that's about to be baked.
He kind of looks like a potato. Why would you make a figure of that guy?
I don't know.
Anyway, well, everybody, thanks as always for watching us recommend stuff, and we'll recommend something for you once again next week. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince. Oh, yeah.
Atreyu! Falcor!
Wow. I can't believe that just happened.